So this is an example of a post-event massage on the lower extremity. So our target here is to really flush out waste products, to reduce some post-event soreness. So the techniques are a bit deeper than pre-event, but they're a lot slower and more about sort of getting rid of all those metabolites that have accrued through their exercise. So we're going to start the post-event massage with a really gentle stretch in towards hamstrings. So bringing the hip into flexion till we feel tension kick in, and we're going to hold it there for about 10 seconds. You'd repeat that sort of 3 or 4 times. You could also assess quad length. Most people wouldn't feel a stretch here, but if you're really tight, you can bring them into knee flexion, and some people would feel a bit of a stretch in towards their quads from a supine position, which might also just lengthen the muscle before we start doing soft tissue work. Okay, so just to start with the massage techniques in towards the quads themselves. So this is about getting lots and lots of coverage. It's about really trying to ensure we're getting lots of venous returns. We're working with that natural blood supply to get rid of all those waste products within the quad muscle bellies. It shouldn't be painful. It should be short of discomfort, and it should be really nice, like a nice relaxing massage. So for bigger quads, contact points that would be great would be double-handed techniques. So our pressure's on the way up. We've got a really wide contact point so we can cover all of those quads. You can do some nice broad kneading techniques where you're pushing through the fibres with a cross fibre technique. Heel your hand would be good. I think using knuckles and thumbs would be a bit too deep and a bit too strong for a post-event massage. And you can target and direct your pressure where your partner feels a bit tighter, or perhaps where you pick up on tensions within those tissues. Open C, really good again for post-event, where you're lifting up, grabbing the muscle fibres and moving it away from the deeper tissues. So these finger pads are grabbing and holding and lifting back up. If there was more tension laterally, then your thumbs could be your predominant contact point which you work into. So another nice one for post-event would be those ringing techniques for using your quads and your glutes. So you're going to use the heel of your hand to push in, and your finger pads are going to pull back towards you. So you're almost sort of combing through the adductors and also the lateral quads, and establish where there is or isn't tension as you're doing it. So it's quite tough on your legs as a practitioner, but it shouldn't be driven by arm strength. It should be mainly led by your stronger leg muscles. Another nice one to incorporate would be those picking up techniques, where you're going to hold the tissue with a bit less lotion ideally. From here you can squeeze and lift up, and then just gently work through that muscle, going up in towards the proximal fibres. So here we're targeting vastus medialis. If you want to go more towards the rec fem, you're targeting your pressure more centrally. So just to finish off with quads, then again, longitudinal techniques, just to reinforce the benefits of what we're doing before about venous return, and also flushing out and encouraging more lymphatic flow. Before we start targeting hamstrings and gastrocs. If you could lie into your front for me. Thank you. Okay, so to target hammies, if I lift these up and just tuck them into your shorts. So we're going to start with the same sort of technique. So really nice broad contact points. So double-handed effleurage or double alternating. Hamstrings will feel a bit more fibrous. You'll feel a bit more tendon tissue in here, and you can direct your pressure where you feel you need to. So remember, our predominant techniques were broad contact points with effleurage. You can do those nice open C techniques where you're working slower and a little bit deeper than pre-event. Ringing techniques, where there's a bit more muscle mass here to target rather than on and towards the quads. And you could even do muscle compressions as long as they were short of discomfort. So the muscle compression in towards hamstrings. Let's bring that leg into slightly shortened position and relax off for me. Put your pressure in, hold that force for about 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, you can take your pressure off. If you feel they're not that relaxed, you can revert back to those shaking, jostling techniques or those rolling techniques, just to encourage your patient to relax a little bit more. And then we go back in with another muscle compression. So knuckles in, hold that force for about 10 seconds, and then slowly take your pressure out. And you can apply the same techniques in towards gastrocs, lots of broad contact points using effleurage and petrissage, and that'd be a nice way to finish a post-event massage.